Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another webinar with us as part of our digital marketing mini-series. Today's hour-long webinar will be on how to strengthen your brand through storytelling. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we begin. So our webinar today is being recorded. Our presentation slides and resources will be sent out in a follow-up email after today's webinar. And we will also be having a brief Q&A session at the very end. So please feel free to ask any questions while we are presenting in our chat. This chat should be located on your WebEx screen to the bottom right. Please do select all panelists when entering your comment or question so that everyone on the panel can see your question. So just a little bit about us and who we are. So we are part of the City of Mississauga's Economic Development Office. We are the Mississauga Business Enterprise Center, better known as MBEC. Our focus is to support our small business community here in Mississauga, and we hope to be your go-to that you can count on to help you find small business information, resources, as well as guidance. Our team is here to support any information and assistance necessary to starting or growing your business. We also have a number of resources such as these webinars, program information for starting or expanding your business, as well as business support programs that we deliver throughout the year. In addition, there are also relief programs available for COVID-19 that can be accessed through our business relief portal, which is on our website at mississauga.ca/mbec. So on the panel today, I would like to firstly introduce myself. My name is Aminpreet, and I am the project coordinator for the city's Digital Main Street program, which I will speak more about in the next slide. Also with me today, new to our digital marketing mini-series, is Hassan. Hassan is an award-winning speaker, entrepreneur, and a fitness expert. He has traveled the world to speak at schools, events, and conferences, and is a successful entrepreneur operating his business called Youth Speaker Academy. Lastly, Hassan is a fitness expert and is currently a fitness supervisor for the City of Mississauga right now. So welcome, Hassan, and glad to have you present. And I notice the slide, we'll change that. All right. So just a little bit about Digital Main Street. So Digital Main Street is designed to help our local Main Street small business owners enhance their presence online and to become more digital. We do this by connecting our Main Street business owners with one of our 5 digital experts who are part of this digital service squad. So these digital experts provide one-on-one assistance to business owners and help them grow your business by adopting and implementing digital tools and technologies. The support that we provide looks different for every business and their unique digital need. And to find out more on what this looks like, we have a menu of our digital services that can be found at mississauga.ca/digital Main Street. So this is a summary or a rather condensed version of our menu. As you can tell, we provide assistance, for instance, with creating ads, providing feedback for your analytics, helping with identity and brand management or content creation, social media assistance, as well as website audits and enhancing your online presence. This is essentially a free resource for our Main Street small business community. And if you are interested in receiving this free digital help, please do take advantage of it as this is our last week for the current program. So you can sign up at mississauga.ca/digital Main Street. And just highlighting here a couple of additional digital services that we offer. So firstly, there is the Mississauga Made movement. This is an online marketplace launched in an effort to inspire all of us to support and shop local. Here you can join the marketplace for everything Mississauga Made. You can find products, services, as well as community activities, and enlist your own business for others to find. Secondly, we have our free business advisory services. So if you are in need of help, whether it's for related to accounting, legal, business operations, sales strategies, or digital marketing, we have now extended our free consultations with these professionals until March. So the form for this can also be found on our website at mississauga.ca/mbec. And along with our digital marketing support, which includes free one-on-one marketing consultations with our digital marketing consultant, you can also find resources such as our past webinar recordings, upcoming programs, and entrepreneurship programs. And speaking of which, we have the Summer Company Program, which starts a little later on in spring. But if you are an Ontario student, 15 to 29 years, or know of someone that is 15 to 29 that has a business idea, this program is a great opportunity to receive free business training and mentorship to help them launch their business in the summer. There's also an opportunity to apply for a grant of up to $3,000 to help them launch during the summertime. So if you are interested or know of someone, you can let them know, and they can attend our free information session. And the next one is actually happening next week, Thursday at 6 p.m. So again, you can visit mississauga.ca/mbec, and I will also send a link for this in our follow-up email. And here we have some upcoming webinars. So we actually have one tonight on how to start a consulting or coaching business at 6 p.m. So you'll be able to get some insight on how to set up your business, some required perhaps certifications, experience required, and credentials, how to manage risk, and much more. Next week, we are offering 2 free webinars. The first on Social Media Marketing 201, learning to amplify your social media presence, building your online brand, and growing your client base by optimizing your marketing efforts. And as well, next week, we have how to film, edit, and use videos for social media success, where we will have Hassan back again next week to present on this topic. And so very exciting. You get to film, learn how to film your own video content in a very fast and easy way. And lastly, please join the conversation online. Help us find you and find each other by using the hashtag SaugaBusiness. Let us know your thoughts on today's webinar and use this as a form of networking with one another as well. You can search for this hashtag, again, hashtag SaugaBusiness, and see who's talking. Our account handle to be found is at Mississauga EDO. So we look forward to chatting on you there, online as well. And without further ado, I will hand it off to our speaker today, Hassan, and to talk more about how we can strengthen our brand through storytelling.
Awesome. Preet, thank you so much. Yes, I can share now. Perfect. Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy to have you all join me. Let me just share my screen here, and we can get going from current slide. Let's go. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Ampri, are we good? You see my screen? Yes, beautiful.
Yep.
So guys, welcome. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to talk about something that I'm so passionate about, storytelling. You know, when it comes to your business, how to give your business character, personality, how to humanize your business, you know, how to get people to trust you, like you, connect with you. And in return, at the end, the result is increased sales. Because at the end of the day, guys, at the end of the day, as a business, no sales, no business, right? So that is my goal, is for you to increase your sales through storytelling and through personal connection. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're actually going to cover a few things, okay? Here's a few things that we're going to cover. One, I'm going to talk to you about my story, about my brand, how I build my brand, how it started, how it is now. So you can kind of connect and relate and see a personal little example. We're going to talk about, what is brand storytelling? You know, not everybody knows what that is, right? The history of storytelling, how long it's been going on for, what, you know, is it a year, 2 years, 10 years, and why it's so crucial to your brand. We're going to talk about some successful examples in the real world with businesses that have used it in such an efficient manner. And we're going to tell you how you can, tell your own story. Everybody has a story. Whether you have a business or not, you have a story. And this is the one thing that makes you different, is your story. So my question to you is, are you telling that story? Are people aware of your story? If they are, you will be successful. If they are not, you are missing out on a huge opportunity. to connect with people, to build trust with people, and at the end of the day, increase sales. And then we're going to also get you to think about your story and hopefully connect with us on social media to share that with us as well. Beautiful. Let's move. So my story. Oh man, see all these pictures, eh? Every one of these pictures here actually tells a part of my story. My actual brand started about 4 years ago. Okay. I've been building my brand for about 4 years. All right. So now before I actually go into this, I want you to think that whatever I talk about today can be applied to any business. And not just business. When I talk about brand, guys, when I talk about brand, you don't necessarily have to have a business. Having a brand is the first step to having a business. Okay. So, if you are a social media influencer, you have a brand. You are the brand, right? One day you can turn that into a business by, doing, turning it, trying to find a way to monetize your brand. And that's for you to think about. Okay. But it all starts with a brand. So my brand started 4 years ago. I had no idea I was starting a brand, by the way. As you see in the far left picture, I'm in my City of Mississauga uniform. I still work for the City of Mississauga. Very happy employee. I love working for the city. I'm very passionate about, the place that I live and making a difference in my city. I was a part-time staff. I was a personal trainer, and I was moving up the ladder, and I got a promotion to be an assistant supervisor at the time. And I realized that as I was moving up, that communication was so important. It was so important. I had to go to meetings, I had to do presentations, and I just wasn't ready for it. I would stumble, I would forget my lines, I'd be nervous. And I remember one time I had my boss asked me to do a presentation on stage. I didn't want to disappoint her. I said yes. And I did this presentation, and my boss was there, and I totally blew it. I was so embarrassed. I remember walking off that stage. I was so like crushed, embarrassed, upset, just disappointed in myself. But then that day I said, you know what, Hassan, like you got to make sure this doesn't happen again. So I went and I joined training. I joined Toastmasters. Anybody know Toastmasters? I know I can't see you. Usually when I do webinars, I see my people and I connect with everybody. Now I can't. If you know Toastmasters, don't worry, I can't see you. But raise your hand if you know Toastmasters. Yes? I hope you're raising your hand right now. Toastmasters International Public Speaking Organization helps you improve your communication skills. And through Toastmasters, I improved my communication. And I did that. I did training for about 3 years in Toastmasters. I was building my brand. I joined competitions. I won contests. You see in the second picture, that's me at one of the Toastmaster contests. I won multiple awards. And as I was going through my journey of public speaking, I was sharing my journey with the world. Again, storytelling. I was sharing my story throughout that 3-4 years. People knew my struggles. They knew my ups. They knew my downs. They knew the things that I went through. So they were building that trust with me as I went. This is why it's so important to share your story, guys, so that when you're ready to monetize, the connection is already there. The trust is already there. The connection is already there. So 3 years I built my brand. There was no money, no business, okay? People saw me go through, again, the contest. After the contest at Toastmasters for about 3-4 years, opportunities in my public speaking became better. Opportunities within my job in the city started to open up. I started becoming a better supervisor. I started getting opportunities within my job. As you see in the top right picture here, I'm standing with the mayor, Bonnie Crombie, the city manager, Janice Baker, the CEO of United Way, and all the commissioners and City Mississauga employees behind me. I was the MC for the event. That was one of the opportunities, one of the many opportunities that I got from improving my communication skills. So now my job, my full-time job, I was getting better and I was moving up and getting more opportunities because of my public speaking skills. I realized, wow, communication is so important to developing yourself in any field. If you want to succeed in any field, whether it's sales, business, mechanic, engineering, if you can't speak, if you can't share your story, how will people get to know you? How will they know how good you are? So I thought, you know what? How can I teach this to others? I know how valuable public speaking communications is. How can I teach this to others? And that is where Youth Speaker Academy began. And that is the business that I started about 1 year ago, end of 2019, 2020. You see here my students graduating with their certificates. That was the first ever batch of students. I had 150 students that graduated. And when I started the business, it was 3.5, 4 years after I was building my brand, right? Sharing my stories, getting people to know me through social media. They saw my speaking journey. They saw the evolution I had within the city of Mississauga as well, within my field. So that when I started my business, it picked up just like this. I mean, it wasn't like the first, it was about a learning curve in the first month, but in the first, I would say 2 months, I had more than $30,000 in revenue. In the first year, I made more than six figures. In teaching classes, I taught more than 700 students. More than 700 students graduated. YMCA is one of my clients. The biggest charities, so many different things. They raised more than $30,000. My students, and the reason why the sales came in so fast was because I had 3-4 years before that where I was building my story. I was building my brand. I was connecting those people online. Were seeing my journey. They're seeing my evolution. So when I put out the service, or when in your case, whether it's a service or a product, people automatically bought into the service and product. Why? Because they believed in me, they trusted me, they liked me, and they connected with me. I already had that going. So now I want you to think about your story, right? And your business. Do your customers know you? Do they have a connection with you? Do they really know who you are? If they do, you are more likely to make more sales. And I'll show you some stats later. Some more pictures here. That is me at the bottom. Through my public speaking, I also became the spokesperson of a $200 million charity, Human Concern International. I travel the world and I speak on video. I raised money. I raised more than $100,000 in donation just last year alone. In my 4 years of journey, I've raised more than $1 million through my public speaking. So again, but people would not know this if I don't share it with them, right? So if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this presentation today is share, 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 and you'll see the success. Now, me sitting in the chair, that was just a funny photo, guys. I went to Turkey there. I was gonna say I conquered Turkey as well, but it was just a photo shoot. You pay like $10 and they put you in a suit. That was that. But it was a pretty cool suit, guys. I mean, I was holding, see the sword on the right? Oh, that's pretty funny. All right, let's move on, guys. Let's move on. What is brand storytelling? We don't have much time. We got to move quick. Brand storytelling is using a narrative to connect your brand to customers. It is a powerful way to build connections with your audience. Compelling stories engage consumers, elicit emotion, and foster loyalty, forging a meaningful relationship that goes far beyond product and service. And what I mean by a narrative here is we mean elements of storytelling like your characters, setting, conflict, rising action, climax, conclusion. Think about my story for a second. I went and I did a engagement for my work and I failed. And then I went and I said, you know what? I'm not going to give up. I went to training and I trained for 3 years. I built myself for 3 years. And then I began my academy where I wanted to give back all the stuff that I learned so that youth, when they grow up, youth and adults, and they get to the jobs they want, whatever job it is, they are ready to lead. They are ready to succeed. Think about that story now. When you hear that story, do you not want to sign your kids up? Do you not want to register and be like, hey, take my money, man? It's the truth. And that's how I brought in 6 figures of revenue in 1 year because of that connection. I'll tell you, mostly, I'm telling you, I had a big part of the success behind my business. Now let's move on. History of storytelling. So what is it really a big deal? Guys, it is part of our DNA. We've been telling stories from 30,000 BC, like, Stone Ages, people like, drawing pictures on the walls. 30,000 BC, cave paintings started, okay? And that's what people communicated through the paintings. 1000 BC, ancient Greek, the ancient Greek times and legends, they all did it on the caves. They would draw pictures. 7,000 BC, 700 BC was the first printed story, like an actual full story, but it was carved into city walls, right? They didn't have paper back then. Written, and this was just visual. So you see the picture and through words. So people used to tell their stories through their mouth or through seeing pictures. And that's why when you go back to ancient places, you'll see all these pictures, even like the pyramids and stuff. You'll see pictures of stories. Written storytelling, right? At 200 BC, there was the Bible, the Quran, all the religious scriptures, Shakespeare started coming up. 17th BC, fairy tales, right? fairy tales. Imagine your kids when they go to sleep. Do they go to sleep without a story, little kids? You tell them a story, they'll fall right asleep. It's so powerful. 1700s, newspapers. Guys, how popular were newspapers? I mean, they kind of still are, not really much, not much anymore, but before, everybody wanted a newspaper. 1826, the first photograph. Photographs tell stories, right? You see a picture, as it says, it was worth 1,000 words, right? 1949, yeah, 20th century, magazines. Right? When you open, we used to flip through the magazines. Every ad was a story, right? There was a story behind it. Digital storytelling. Now, this is the current era. We have TV, we have commercials, video games, movies. I want you to think about this, guys. I'm a big gamer, by the way. Xbox. Whoo! My award-winning speech with Toastmasters was how I got my first Xbox in 2001. Let me tell you, I won like so many different competitions, and it was just about how I got my Xbox. But video games are movies, which one you can connect with. A movie is a good movie only if it has a good story. Think about it. Or a show. Think of your favorite show. What makes you want to watch the next episode? The story. Video game. What makes you want to beat the video game? The story. What makes you want to get the next video game after you beat the first one? The story. Stories engage you. They connect you. And they trap you, right? They make you want more. So in a business, how can you have the same effect for your product? Your story. Not just your story, but your team story, right? Everything. Not just yourself as the founder, right? Awesome. Let's move on. Let's see the time. All right. Why brand storytelling is important. 87% of customers want to develop more meaningful relationships with brands. I want you to think about this, guys. Do you not trust a business owner or a brand more when you get to know like the person behind it? I connect with my personal business, Youth Speaker Academy. I connect with, can you believe I connected with every single parent? I talked to every single parent. I made every single sale. I actually, and I shared my story with every single parent. And for every parent that signed up, there was 2 others that didn't. Imagine the time. But hey, if you're building your brand, if you're building the business, you got to put in the time. You got to share your vulnerability and your story. So, and customers want this because as soon as they see that you're sharing a little bit about yourself, they will trust you. And they trust you, they'll give you their money. That's it. 60% of, but you see, 87% want more, but 66% say they're not getting that. It's one way. The customers are giving their info, but the business is not returning the same information, right? The businesses are private. They think, well, we can't share that. We can't share that. No, you can. What's the problem? 55% of consumers who love brand story are willing to make a purchase. 55, just off story, alone. So think about that. Obviously, if the product is like so expensive out of the league, they're not going to buy it. You have to be reasonable, but it makes a big difference. Let's move on. Big one here. Consumers are hungry for brands that allow them to develop real understanding and loyalty. But to do that, you as a brand must share enough to give customers an appreciation of your journey. How can they be loyal to you if they don't know you? They only get to know you through your story. So think about that. Customers want this. Are you giving them that? Are you giving them that? Okay. I got a question for the stats. Yes. I will send an email for the stats. Okay. These are based off research, yes. So why brand storytelling is important? Stories build trust. People do business with those who they know, like, and trust, right? People do business with those who they know, like, and trust. So now my challenge to you is I want you to think of your business. How can you get people to know you, like you, and trust you? Number 2, stories are memorable. A fact tied to a story is up to 30 times more memorable than just the facts alone. Facts tell, stories sell, right? Think about that. Facts tell, stories sell. And this is huge. I'm a speaker, right? Professional speaker. I speak at schools, events, conferences, and I teach speaking. When I teach speaking to adults and youth, I tell them, do not go up there and lecture. Go up there and tell a story. After you tell your story, give your message. If you give your message without your story, people will not listen. If you tell people, don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke, they're not going to listen. But if you tell them a story of how maybe you're a friend or a relative or someone who was affected by smoking, how they struggled through chemotherapy, how they took medication, how their families were affected, and then maybe, and then giving them the message of why smoking is bad. They are more likely to listen to you when they get the story first and then your message, than if you just tell them, don't smoke, smoking is bad. Facts tell, stories sell. Okay? Awesome. All right. So 2 minutes is the average time a customer will spend viewing your content. Okay. We have a very short attention span. We know this. Even when I make videos as a spokesperson for the charity, I tell them don't make the videos more than 2 minutes, guys, because they will not. You know this. I mean, come on. Who watches long videos? It's really hard. So even for content, when they're skimming through your website, it's quickly. 2 minutes is the average time because 53% from those 2 minutes, from those 2 minutes, only 53% of the content is consumed. So they're not getting everything. Obviously, this is common sense. They're not catching everything. So what will get them to remember you? To grab attention to consumers and be remembered, you'll have to stand out through your story. Even when I coach people on interviews, so I do one-on-one coaching interviews, I tell them, don't focus so much on your experience. Tell your experience. But everyone that's there is going to have experience. I was just speaking to a student who was applying to medical school, and I was coaching her for her interview. And I told her, listen, the people that are going to be doing interviews with you, all the other students, they're all going to have volunteer hours. They're all going to have thousands of hours of experience. What makes you different is your story. So when you speak to them, make sure they know it's clear what makes you different. From a young age, I would buy the toys, the medical toys, and I would play doctor with my brothers and sisters. And I would dress up as a doctor. And as I grew up, I would buy books and I would read the books. And I wanted to take all the biology courses. And so it's been a passion of mine since a young age. I've wanted to be a doctor. My mother is a doctor. My father's a doctor. It's in our DNA. It's in our genetics. We love it. This is, see, that story is going to make her different than, well, I did this volunteering. I did this volunteering. At the end of the day, it's going to sound the same. Stories are memorable. So share your stories. Now, this is my favorite part. Examples of great storytelling. 10:28. We're running out of time. We got to move quick. So this Papa John's Pizza. I was actually in Niagara Falls. Anybody here know Niagara Falls? Yes, I hope you do. Yes. If you live around the GTA, you know Niagara Falls. And I wanted to eat some pizza, and there was Papa John's Pizza. I sat down, I ordered a medium. I was with a friend, and I was eating the pizza. At the time, this was way before my business, before I knew anything about brands or storytelling. I was a personal trainer, right? So just keep in mind, there's no bias, right? I was eating the pizza, and I look up, and there was a frame poster right up there, and a picture of a Mustang. I said, what's a Mustang doing in a pizza shop? And he said, a story, Papa John's, the story, right? And there's a Mustang, there's a little blurb, and it says, the founder, Papa John, 1971, he sold his Camaro, his favorite, most precious, beautiful car, Camaro, to open up his pizza shop, okay? He wanted to sell pizza. He sold his car to sell pizza. And that pizza shop, that little pizza shop, and I think it was in a little garage, like it was a little tiny space. Later became Papa John's, multi-million-dollar company, right? All in Canada, U.S., and other parts of the world, right? And later he actually offered 270 when he became big and famous and successful. He offered a $270,000 reward to finding his beloved car that he sold to open up that pizza shop. He ended up finding it, and he bought it back in 2009. And this is, as you see the picture here. Look at the truck he has there. The car is it's a pizza shop. Why is the car there? And he has a car right in front of the car right in front of the truck. It is part of the brand now. It's part of the business. The founder sold his car to open up this pizza. All of a sudden, when I was eating that pizza in Niagara Falls, it was more than just pizza. It felt like the pizza had a personality. The pizza had character. The pizza had life. There was a connection now with me and this pizza. I respected the pizza, So how can you, build that same personality for your brand? Remember, people don't connect to brands. They connect to people, which allows them to connect to the brand. You get me? So get people to connect to you so that they can connect with your brand. Next story. This is recent. I bought nail polish for my sisters. So I'm a Muslim, and we have to pray 5 times a day. And when we pray, we have to wash. And when we wash, we can't have nail polish because then the water does not go to the nails, right? Everything has to, the water has to hit the body, right? So there is something called halal nail polish that allows water to go through. So I recently bought it. I made an order. It's called Tuesday in Love. And I was picking up my order. This is all the nail. I don't know. My sisters are addicted, guys. Look how many colors they bought. How many colors they need a nail polish, man? White, black, pink, gray. Come on, man. Anyways, I bought all the colors for them. And in that bag, they had a little postcard that said "Our Love Story." This was like 3 days ago. I said I got to include this in this presentation, and it talks about how their business started. He was a medical student, the CEO, and as you see in your medical school, you got no money. And halal nail polish is really expensive. It's not cheap. Because they make it specifically to go through the and reach your nail. And he couldn't afford his he saw his wife looking at the nail polish. He couldn't afford it at the time, and so he decided to make his own. And he made his own nail polish that now is a really big recognized brand. And he gifted to her on a Tuesday, and the business is now called Tuesday in Love. He gifted his wife the nail polish that she wanted on a Tuesday, and that's their story, right? A postcard. So think about, what are the different ways that you can share your story? Is it a postcard? Is it social media? Is it your website? Is it through public speaking engagements? I share my story through all the events that I attend. Every time I meet someone, I share my story. So even you as an individual, improving your communication skills will help you, will allow you, open up an opportunity for you, for another avenue for you to share your story, okay? Now, keep in mind, guys, if you do have questions, you can send them now as we go through, and Amanpreet will collect the questions and send them my way. You Speaker Academy, you already know my story. So this is my academy that I told you that I built. It's now it's been about a year and maybe 3-4 months. It all started, with me, with my public speaking struggle, and then turning it into a victory, right? That is my story. I already shared that with you, so I'm not going to go through it again, but every opportunity that I get, I share the story with people so that they know. So I build that credibility. This is another story actually that I came across. I was watching Shark Tank. Anybody here love Shark Tank? I watched every episode, guys. Canadian, UK, Australian, American. I love Shark Tank, Dragon's Den, both of them. And this one was really cool. The founder here, the business owner, was pitching an idea. It wasn't even a business like when he was there. It was just an idea. It's called the ham dog. It's really cool. Combination of, you can have a hamburger and a hot dog at the same time. And he was pretty much out of luck. All the dragons were out except one. This one right here. Okay. And in the one that actually ended up investing in him, the shark, invested in him because of a story. He said, you know what? I was at an amusement park like a few weeks ago with my kids, and my daughter couldn't choose between a hot dog or a hamburger. And we stood there for like, hours thinking, hot dog, hamburger, hot dog, hamburger, hot dog, hamburger. Well, guess what? Now you can have both, That story of his daughter allowed him to connect with the business owner, and he got an investment. So ham dog, look out for it, guys. You want both, best of both worlds, you can buy the ham dog. All right. Awesome. So now, how to tell your story, guys. How to tell your story. These are key things that you want to make sure you include. These are messages that your customers want. So as you are maybe just make a note of these things, look through your social media content, look through your website, look through your product, your services, your branding, your labels, and ask yourself, are these clear? Who you are? How did your company come to exist? What are your company's vision, mission, values, culture? What kind of people typically work at your company? This is big mistake people make is they have their company. Nobody knows who they work for. Who are your employees? Who are your staff? I just currently joined the MBEC, the Mississauga Business Enterprise Center, working with the city of Mississauga to help business owners grow in city of Mississauga. And the first thing I said, guys, we got to do videos. We got to showcase our team. So now we're working on, if you go on our Instagram, Mississauga EDO, go on our Instagram, you'll see videos of our team members sharing pieces of themselves. Whether it's a service that they want to capitalize on, whether it's a struggle, a journey, but this is our way to get people to know us, right? Do they know you? Do they know what you do? What is the product or service that you provide? What kind of interaction with customers does or the general public does providing that product or service create? How is that led to lesson learned? So just think, what do you do? Is that clear? Who you do it for? Who's your market? Who's your niche? Who do you help, right? So customer success stories. Who you do for? You don't always have to tell your own story. Sometimes it's best to share it through customers. So for me, when you go on my website, you'll see like You Speaker Academy. You'll see the success stories. I'll have stories. So I have a picture of one of my students at when he volunteered, and I'll say, "Look, meet Brian." You know, I'll also say, "Meet Brian." Brian has been, a student for this long, and when we covered volunteering, he was so excited. He went and he looked at volunteer opportunities, and this is a picture of him volunteering. And I have another story of a kid who pulled out. We were talking about charity, and he was 7 years old, and he went to his bag and he picked out like all the quarters he had. 7 years old, and he came to me in the middle of class. He said, "Hey, teacher, here's here's some money for donation." I took a picture of him with his hand out and I posted it. That was the story. And people, oh, their hearts melted, you know, and in return, I got more customers because they now got to know what I was about through the story of the customer, right? And why you do it. This is really important. What's your why? What's your larger goal? Always what led to the company's, service? What led to you providing this? What drives you to continue? People want to know this. Now, keep it organic, guys. You can do this by sharing a post about just you, a selfie, and saying, maybe you're feeling down one day and you're feeling like, you're having struggles in your business. Share these moments with your customers. Vulnerability is probably the biggest thing that allows people to connect with you. Okay. Running out of time. Oh my God. How you do what you do. You don't need to explain how you do what you do when it comes to selling, because when it comes to sales, like you're selling a product, you get to how it benefits them, how the product benefits them. But through your branding and your social media and your website, talk about how you do what you do. Allow them to appreciate, how much work it takes to provide what it is that you're providing, and where you're headed. Where you're headed. What's next for you? What's your goal? People also connect with you when they know that you have a vision, that you have a larger goal. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's see. Thank you, Hassan Yanishes. Okay, mashallah. Yes, I see some people sending chat. Let me open up the chat so I can read. Yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Perfect. Thank you guys for all the messages. I see your messages here. Helen says, unfortunately, some stories sound like lectures. Yes. So you have to be careful in how you're telling your story. When you're telling your story, don't put it in the message right away. Leave the message to the end. And I tell people, keep your story 80% story, 20% message, right? Make it funny, add some humor if you have to, have some ups and downs, but keep it real and sincere. Awesome. So what your stories must be driven by your personalities. That's the other thing. I went to a business on their social media to see, because actually someone asked me, can I get some advice on my pages, website and whatnot, to see we need help with our story. And I looked at their social media, Instagram, it was all words, right? No faces at all. No faces, no people. It's like, no matter how good your service is, how can I connect with you if I don't know who's on the other end of the screen? So again, look at your content. Do you have people? Do you have faces? Do you have personalities? Your story, they have to be driven by personalities. Where is the hero, the villain, the drama? The odds that we have to overcome, right? Who is the founder? Do they know? What's their story, right? Involve your team as well, not just your story. Don't make it all about you. Make it about your team as well. Make it to your team, your team members. Get focus on. That's what we're doing in the city of Mississauga right now. If you go on social media, each team member is making a video so people get to know who they are, right? And tell your story through your customers, like I said. So remember, I mentioned the volunteering. That's right here, right here. That's one of my students. That's the other student that Oh, I gotta go back. There we go. Oh, technical. There you go. That's one of my students here that donated the money that I mentioned. I took a picture of. That's one of my students that volunteer. I snapped a picture and told the story. This is one of our employees, Jordan, talking about digital marketing on our social media. Again, telling his story. And this is me working for the charity. So these pictures, right? Make sure you're sharing them through your social media. And remember, people connect to people, not brands. So you need to connect with you first, which will then connect them with your brand. Okay, awesome. Now let's keep going. Awesome. Use stories to build your personal brand. So your personal brand. Oh, this is so important. And this is the future now. Maybe it wasn't as like big in the past, but now with the future of social media, it is huge. You know, your personal brand is as important as your business brand. In fact, your personal brand will help you grow your business brand. Remember, when I started, I didn't have a business. It was just my personal brand. It was my journey of public speaking, going up and down, taking training, evolving, and then the business came in. But because my personal brand was strong, my business was able to succeed really quickly. So, do you have a personal brand? You know, think when you think Tesla, who do you think? Right? Right here, right? Elon Musk. When you think Amazon, who do you think of? When you think Microsoft, who do you think of? Even City of Mississauga. Why do we have a mayor? Why do we have a face to our city? Right? Bonnie Crombie. Because, you know, it allows us to connect with our city when we have that face there, right? Make your as your personal brand grows, your business brand will also follow. Okay. I was speaking to an Instagram influencer yesterday, and she was saying, "Well, I don't have a business. You know, she has tons of followers. She has like 50,000 plus followers, but I'm gonna attend your session." I'm like, "Well, don't worry. This is not just for business owners. You as an influencer on Instagram, this is your brand, right? You are the brand, right? So as you connect with people through your brand, then you're able to monetize that. So she does giveaways, business connect with her to advertise products. That's your business right there. So as you build your brand and get people to connect with you and like you and trust you, you can start to roll out more services and become more successful. What not to do? Words, 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 and more words, okay? Not enough. Words with other things, yes. Depend on social media, one social media platform alone. Don't do that. Use your website, use Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, use different avenues. Some people only use one thing or two things. This is the future, guys. Social media is the future. And other mistake you can make is just focusing on the facts. Remember, facts tell, stories sell. All right. Hide from your customers. You know, look, if you see this question mark, a business, and you don't know who you're dealing with, I want you to just think about it. Do you, isn't it harder to make a business deal when you don't know who you're working with? It's so much harder. So allow yourself to show your face, right? And fitness business example, I was talking to a fitness business owner, and she had a lot of great content. It was a lot of fitness workouts, and she was amazing at what she did. When I looked at her Instagram, I said, but you know, I was speaking, I said, but where's you? Like, I want to know, I want to get to know you, right? Because at the end of the day, if I hire you to train me, to train someone, then I want to know that I like you, right? And I trust you and connect with you. And she said, well, I'm just not comfortable. You know, I'm just going to put out workouts. So I'm like, that's great. But if you want to increase your business, if you want people to connect with you and trust you, you got to share pieces of yourself, you know? So and then she started making more videos, speaking to the camera, and wow, the success that she started coming along, right? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Um, let's see here. Oh, ignore the about us. This is another mistake. I went on another website. I was looking at a business and looking through their again, I was looking through whether their storytelling was apparent and doing an assessment. And I looked in the about us section, and there was actually no about us. He didn't even have an about us section. And a lot of us actually ignore the about us section. You just put a little paragraph. Oh, it's not important. It's all about the product. No, this is probably one of the most important parts of your website. The about us, or about whoever your name is, or about the brand, the business. This is where people get to know you and make that decision on whether they want to trust you. So make this deep. Put a picture of yourself, share your journey, put pictures, videos, whatever it is. And another mistake is staying private. Don't stay private. And another mistake is having boring story. You can make your story more exciting. If you need help, reach out to us. We will help you do that. I'm currently working with a few people to make their story a little bit more exciting, so that when people hear it, you know, they are enticed by it. It's still the same story, but it's just these things that you can implement. And I learned a lot of it from being a speaker. All right. Woo! We made it. Oh my goodness. We made it. 10:45. All right, guys. So now this is my challenge for you. I want you to think about, you know, what your story is, right? What is your story? And if you don't have a story, how can you start, implementing your story? And you know what? You don't. Everybody's got a story. Don't say you don't. What did I just say? Everybody's got a story, but not everybody has communicated their story. And you don't have to have a business to have a story. I want you to think that everybody has a brand, right? You are your brand, right? So you have a story as well. So what I want you to do to actually connect with you is I want you to, everyone right now watching, take out your phone, please. Take out your phone. Take out your phone and go on Instagram, please. I'm going to do it right now with you. Go on Instagram and type in Mississauga EDO. We just launched our new Instagram channel. Go on Mississauga EDO and follow us. That's the first thing. Follow us. Okay, I'm waiting for you to do it right now. And then after you do that, after the session is over, go on our stories and answer this question: what is your story? It's gonna be in the stories, and you can actually reply to us. We will share your story. When you reply to us, we will share it on our social media, so you get the exposure of all the big organizations that are with us and our customers. But you need to do that first. So go on Mississauga EDO on Instagram, follow us, and then go on the stories and share with us your story. I want to thank you for listening to me today. We're going to move on to the question portion here. But again, as a reminder, guys, as a last reminder in these last 10 minutes, the only thing that makes you different is you, right? Facts tell, stories sell. So go out there, connect with people, share who you are, be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to share a piece of yourself. Don't be afraid to share your weaknesses. Don't be afraid to share your failures. And don't be afraid to share your successes. This is how people will connect with you and trust you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to pass it back down to Amanpreet to take care of the question portion. Again, if you have questions, put it in the chat and follow us on social media. Amanpreet, it's all to you.
Awesome.
Sorry, I took
Thank
a
you
little
so
bit more
much.
time.
No, no, all good. So I do see a couple of questions that we have here. One of them being, what if I want to keep my life private? Do I have to share my life?
You don't have to share your life. Like, you don't have to go into your kids and your husband and these little personal things, but your business life you can share. There's level of how deep you go. So my thing to you is, you don't have to go so deep that you're going to like your private matter stuff, but in regards to like your motivation behind what you do, your journey to getting to where you are, your team's journey, their personalities. These, I think, are basic things that you must share if you want your business to go from here to here.
I think even showing some behind the scenes, for instance, what kind of
Yeah,
work you do, what goes into making your product, and what you can do with it. I think all of that goes into your personality and your brand as well.
I love that, I'm free, actually. Yeah, behind the scenes. Yeah, it's really good.
Let's see here. How do you get the opportunity to tell your story to potential consumers?
So for me, I'm lucky enough that I'm a speaker, right? So I'm at events. I'm at so many events, and so I'm sharing my story everywhere. But you are the walking brand, right? Every person you connect with, you have an opportunity to share your story with. In fact, when I tell my students, when I teach them like communication skills to connect with others, I tell them, share a piece of yourself. You want to build a friendship, or you want to get someone to like you, tell a little story about yourself. So you have an opportunity every day to share your story with everyone that you meet. Now, if you want to go further than that, attend events, networking events, sessions just like this. Usually this one is more of you can't see anybody, but other sessions, for example, you get to see other people, other faces. You can make connections, you can network. But every opportunity you have, where it involves people, you have an opportunity to share your story, but also use your social media, use your website. These are all avenues in which you can connect and share your story.
And Hassan, is there a template for storytelling that people can use to structure their story to be more compelling?
I don't want you to think of it as a formal thing, guys, because it's not. It's my students come with speeches sometimes, and they write this speech, formal speech, and they read it out, and it's so boring. And guys, don't make it scripted. Keep it real. So with your stories, keep it real. There was I post a lot on my social media, but my most successful post ever was about it was the end of the year of like 2018, 19, and I just shared like it was a terrible year for me, like in regards to failures. It was before all the business and all these things came along. Everything I have today was after like that, those failures. But I just shared. I was vulnerable with my people, with the people that were following me. I talked about how I got I wasn't selected for a job. It was my relationship didn't work out, and all these things that didn't go well for me. But I'm looking forward to this new year and this whatnot. And everyone respected that post, and it was just a picture of me smiling with a little caption at the bottom. So I don't want you to think of it so formally. I think look at everything that you do and ask yourself, is there a story behind this that I can share? When I'm teaching my students, I'm looking for opportunities of cool and unique stories that I can take and put out to connect with the consumers, right? Even if you're a convenience store, right, owner, right, and you just dealt with a customer, maybe that customer had a story or you put a smile on your face or something, you can potentially share that story with your social media following without having that customer's face. But think of those opportunities and put them out organically so that it's not like very formal and scripted.
I think that one of the reasons that posts may have done well is because it's relatable content.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
people can connect with you because they can
Yeah.
relate with you.
Yeah. Everybody fails, right? If you can relate, actually, Ampi, that's a really good point because when you are speaking to people, your main goal should be for them to relate to you. Because if they relate to you, then they feel like they have that connection. So that's a really good one, Ampi.
Yep. How do you share your story on social media when trying to launch a business, when you have an existing day job, and so on and so forth? And your employers are also on your social media platforms.
It's a good one. It's a good one. So here's the deal, guys. I mean, I work for the city of Mississauga. I supervise two fitness facilities for them. I love my job with the city. I live in the city of Mississauga. I am passionate about the fact that I am able to give back through my job, but I'm also a business owner. And so I have a day life and I have a night life. And I understand that some people may not like it. As long as the leaders, you are transparent with your leaders, with your managers, with what you're doing, how you're doing it, actually, and as long as you make them aware of the benefits, this is something that actually, I'm glad you asked this question because this was bugging me, eating me alive for the past year and a half as a business owner. Every time I post something, I stress so much. Oh my God, what are they gonna think? I have this person on, this person. What are they gonna think? What are they gonna? And it stressed me out so much until about maybe 4 to 5 months. I let go and I was watching a video by Gary V. Gary V. Anybody know Gary V? Yes, yes. Gary V is amazing. And yes, and he said this thing that changed my outlook forever. He said, you know, your employers are going to be worried that your mind is split into different areas, right? They're worried that if you have a business, how can you focus on your main job? Well, now I'm going to give you another way to look at it. Okay. Well, how about this? Having multiple things that you're doing allow you to actually be better at the multiple things that you're doing because what you learn from job B or project B, you can implement in project A. For example, I'm a fitness supervisor. I just dealt with fitness stuff. As I got into public speaking and become a better communicator, I started doing events for the city. I started emceeing events. I started doing webinars. What I'm doing right now, I started doing so much more. I was speaking at conferences on their behalf. I was just presenting, a presentation on religious inclusion to all of the municipalities in Ontario so that they can be more inclusive to their staff. And I use the city of Mississauga as an example and how they were inclusive to me. So now I am benefiting my job through my skill or business. So think of ways to take that message to your employer so that they see the benefit in the fact in the other things that you're doing outside of your day job. And if once they do that, they will appreciate you and everything that you do as a whole, and you won't have to stress anymore.
Awesome. Hassan, would you recommend as a crash course to take a crash course for solopreneurs in order to improve their overall presenting skills?
So presentation skills, you don't have to join an entrepreneurial presentation course. Just join a communication training. Guys, Communication training. I tell the students number one, like all the time. Top two skills in the world that you can have: communications and leadership. So important, so important. If your communication is better, your business. Let me tell you, because you are the walking business, right? So my recommendation for you is join Toastmasters. It is free. Not free. Sorry, the cost is really low. Your job, see, City of Mississauga had their own club, City of Mississauga Toastmasters Club for employees only, and that's where I joined. So I was with people that worked for the City of Mississauga. I eventually became the president of the club. I went to contests. I was facing some of the best speakers in Ontario, and through Toastmasters, 3 years of it actually, everything else began, and it opened up so many opportunities. So join Toastmasters, and public speaking communications you don't get from reading scripts and lectures. It's from practice. So the only way to do it is practice. So you got to go a place where you can practice. So join Toastmasters. You go there once a week. You do speeches, you do presentations, impromptu speaking, speaking on the spot, prepared speeches, debates, so many cool stuff. And you'll learn so much, and you see your business will improve.
Awesome. Just looking here for any other
Yeah.
questions.
And I'm seeing here a lot of great comments. Jenny says, excellent answer. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'd love to hear about your journey as Santa. It was great to see you have so much of your community before you began. Yes. Thank you so much for the comments. Gary V, he's awesome. Read both of his books. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, joining Toastmasters is perfect. And then member of Comia. Oh, you worked at the city as well. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for the comments, guys. We're reading them here. Amanpreet, is there anything else?
No, I think we're good. I think we're good for time as well. And again, if there's any other questions that anyone has, or maybe we didn't get to them or cover them, please do send us an email afterwards. And I do want to thank Hassan for coming here today and speaking on how to tell our story and how to create our personal brand. So thank you so much. And to everyone, again, we do have a webinar tonight as well on how to start a consulting or coaching business. So if you are interested in that sort of self-employment career, you can also attend tonight's webinar at 6 p.m. And with that being said, we will see you perhaps here next week as well. We have a couple of webinars. And yeah, reach out to us if you have any questions. And see you soon.
Yeah, follow us. Follow us. The thing that I put it in the chat again, guys. Follow us and please respond to the what's your story. We really want to hear it. We will share it on our social media. We want to hear, so please, 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 please share that.
Yeah, and find each other as well. So use that hashtag Saga Business. Get to know your Mississauga neighborhood communities and businesses as well. And we will also be joining the conversation online. So, any last words, Hassan? Good?
It's I mean, I just loving the comments. Thank you guys so much. You have to register. Yes, you have to register. We have a private message here. And Angelica, you can write a book one day. You've got lots of great material. It'd be fresh, someone young and just starting to really kick it. Good for the young ones like my daughter. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Angelica. Awesome, awesome. And everyone here that joined, yes, Amanpreet put the link. Sarah, thank you. And everybody else, appreciate you guys. Amanpreet, any last words?
No, all good. All good. All good here.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.